Sarah from Pasadena, California. KKLA is the station. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How's your life going today?
It's good. I'm actually calling on behalf of my mom. I have two siblings, an 18-year-old sister and a 21-year-old brother who are living at home with her, and she's a single mom, has been for about 10 years.
And you're how old?
I am 30.
You're 30, okay.
Yeah, I'm 30. Yeah, so basically my mom's situation right now is she's in this cycle of being both depressed and then going back to being very angry at my siblings for their behaviors. My sister's extremely manipulative, abusive, verbally. My brother is just kind of not doing well. He's just kind of at home, not really doing anything with himself, and there's a lot of alcohol abuse, a lot of just very out of control behavior from both of them. And so my mom is kind of torn between having to move out and kind of leave them on their own, and then being guilty over the many years that she feels she hasn't taught them how to be on their own. And so she's just kind of back and forth with this. She gets depressed and then wants to help them out of their situation, and then she gets really sad because they respond in a manner that she doesn't, doesn't like, and right. It's ugly, My sister's really mean.
Well, we're going to go to a break, and we're going to try to come up with something brilliant for you, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Glad you called.
Sarah?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so you called, you want to know how to help your mother. I'll give you two things to say that would be helpful to her. Mother, doing anything out of guilt is going to cause you to do the wrong thing.
Okay.
So dealing with these kids because you feel guilty about the past, let's just agree, well, that's not a good foundation or motivation on how to raise kids or how to respond to them in trouble.
Okay.
Second thing is we have to raise kids based on their needs today.
Okay.
So today, Mom.
See, that's a great point, Steve.
Today, Mom, these kids need some boundaries and structure, and they need to be held accountable. That's what you focus on today.
Okay.
So if you believe that the boundary that must be set based on their behavior and what they say to you is they cannot live inside your house, then make that boundary and you keep it. Then you might be forcing them to grow up and make up for some of the stuff that you feel guilty about in the past. But starting at point guilt is a horrible place to start parenting them.
Okay.
Yeah, Mylan and
I think
Sherry?
that's excellent.
Okay.
I think you have to say, what is the immediate need of the child? And I couldn't have said it better.
The only thing I would add to that is I think your mom needs Al-Anon. And I think it'd be really good for you to go with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because she's an enabler. She's enabling bad behavior. And the kids have learned how they're teaching her bad behavior, because as soon as she gets upset or sad or whatever, they'd go into their manipulative, abusive behavior, and it's just keeping the whole system stuck. They need to like reset the hard drive in that home. And so your mom's not going to be able to do that on her own. She hasn't been for a long time. She needs a community that can help her, and Al-Anon's a great place for that. And because there's alcohol with your brother, it's a perfect fit for you guys. Go with her.
Yeah.
Now I got a question, though.
Yeah.
Does your mom know you're calling?
Yes, she does. I have been kind of, for a very long time, for many years, actually when my parents got separated about 10 years ago, I literally pulled my mom and my siblings out of the home they were in. My dad had been basically under the influence of alcohol for like 2 months straight, and he wasn't cohesive. He was starting to become aggressive, which he had never been before. And so this is kind of the second time around this is happening, except it's with my siblings now. It's not with my father. But I literally had to like pick her up, almost drag her out of that house with my siblings and take her out to a new situation. And so I stopped doing that for a little bit. Like for these 10 years, I've had my own family and things. And so I've tried to let her do things on her own. And I have offered Al-Anon. I have offered those things. And I have offered to go with her. And she doesn't get to a place where I feel like she feels the desperate need to. And I felt like I told her, well, I can call the show, and then, you know, it won't come from my lips anymore. It'll come from some experts that will give you what I think you should be doing. But I've been kind of counseling her to move, let them be on their own, you know, go to Al-Anon, get help for herself.
Okay, now, so I think what I'm trying to understand, even with you, Sarah, is how much of a caretaker you are, and it doesn't sound like you're being overly caretaking because you're strategic at the times where it was appropriate to come in.
Like a lifeguard.
Yeah.
She's like a lifeguard with
like
a mom
lifeguard.
who's drowning.
But your mom ultimately has to decide she wants to change.
Yep.
So what you may want to do is have her listen to the show. You can go online, you can listen to it, you can watch the video of the show, and let her sit and sort of hear the whole thing herself so it sort of sinks in. Because she has to decide she's going to do what Steve said. I'm going to deal with the immediacy of the problem. And by the way, Steve, you could also in the future talk to your kids about guilt and even mention it in the discussion.
Yeah.
But then draw the boundary.
All right. I'm just going to assume that Mom is listening right now, and I want to do a little sermonette here.
All right.
Okay. It's one thing to be aware that things are difficult and that the kids are a problem at 18 and 21. And hopefully your awareness now leads you to want something different for them, so they don't continue to be abusive and abuse themselves. So you want something, if you have desire. So we went from knowledge to desire. You have to take the third step, and that is the step toward willingness.
Yeah.
Desire gets you nowhere. Willingness changes the scene, and that's where you want Mom to be, at a place of humble willingness, giving up the home remedies of the past and picking up right where she is today to help those kids. Okay?
And yes, and thank you so much. And I would also, since she is going to be listening, I would like her to hear about how a little bit more about her enabling what is that really is causing, because she thinks she's confused that if she lets it go, if she pulls out, then something really bad can happen, because my sister has tried to commit suicide.
Something bad is happening.
Yeah,
something bad is happening because your mom's not doing anything. Your mom is drowning with 2 children in the boat.
And she's enabling the evil that is being created there.
Yep.
And that's not a good thing, to enable evil.
And your mom should not move out of the house and leave the 2 kids in the house. They need to get out and be on their own. And when we set boundaries with people, we're playing a game of chicken, really. Because if we really set a boundary with somebody and they hold us hostage by dangling over our head, I'm going to hurt myself. We have to be willing, if we're going to be strong, to call that bluff and be willing to lose because we did the next right thing, which was to set a boundary. We cannot live our whole life dangling and dancing around trying to stop a person from doing a threat like that.
Yeah,
Amen.
Self-harm.
All right. Well, let me send you a copy of Boundaries.
Yeah.
Hope that'll help you and help the other